speaking of that, shall we get on to X-Men 97?
Yes, we
episode 8?
should.
Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1.
Another great episode.
It's so good. It's just so incredibly good.
I want to... This might be... Is this the best Marvel project we've had?
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. I'd be comfortable saying it's the best Disney Plus project we've had.
Above Loki.
Absolutely.
Fair. Yeah, no, I could probably... I mean, I'm trying to think... Yeah. Loki's probably the closest thing that has also been goated.
It's craziness. The fact that this is only part 1 of 3 as well. Like, we have got so much more to happen here, and it's just incredible.
It's sort of what I kind of thought was going to happen is shit's going to go more wrong. And then I thought we'd maybe only get Charles at the end. Obviously, he's rocked up at the end of this episode. But yeah, like, shit going wrong was just what they've just dealt with the whole Genosha thing, still dealing with it, and then next second, it's all going wrong even more.
Yeah. It's actually one of the ones where, just like after watching that Genosha episode, I sat there and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's heavy. I'm sat here and I'm like, oh my God, I'm literally sat here and it's doing exactly what Super shows are supposed to. I'm literally sat here like, how do they win?
Yeah. It's like, how do they even win this? And it's like, at what cost to win?
Exactly. You've got Scott and Jean trying to deal with, I know it's not technically Jean's son, but it's just easy to say their son. Just appearing back into their life and then realizing they've known him for ages, but not known they've known him. You've got Kurt trying to be the moral voice of reason, but also he's worried about his sister in Rogue. You've got Wolverine, who just wants to be allowed to go apeshit on everyone who's ever spoken
he's just had enough.
about mutants. And at the same time, they are trying to work out, okay, what's this evil force behind all this? Where's Mr. Sinister? Where's this Bastion dude? Why is no one trying to help protect mutants here? What is going on?
Yeah.
I have never... I would probably say I would probably be construed as borderline political. I think people would not be surprised to know I have strong opinions about things. I don't think we've ever really hidden that either. I have never felt so ready to be radicalized watching this. We're not going to get into it too much because it's a very complex issue. But my God, does this show not feel very pertinent for the world right now? Bearing in mind that this was written like 18 months ago.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like, and the wild thing is, this is adapted obviously from the comics quite closely, and these comics were written years ago.
Yeah,
and yet
like nearly 30 years old.
What seems to happen with all media is it's still relevant to this day, and the world's still facing the same issues.
Yeah.
If not
literally
even more relevant.
Why is no one helping? Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, like you say, the whole balance of them trying to figure out who's this big bad is helping Sinister.
Yeah.
You got the family outing to try and figure that out. Meanwhile, you've got back at the school, they're just trying to kind of piece things back together. Obviously Rogue, trying to get Rogue back to full health. And then you've just got this twist reveal of like all of these people that have been infected, for the best way to explain it. As brutal as it was that was all going wrong, we got some amazing fight scenes once again.
Do you know how much life it gave me to see Kurt motherfucking Wagner wielding them swords and
Him,
just ready to take names?
yeah. One Wolverine just like going up into the fucking sky, and then coming back down, just slashing everything, just going ape.
So
and then
I saw the animator for that tweeted,
and
he was like, the directorial notes while animating this was Hurricane Claw Tornado. Or
yeah, fair.
Clawnado. And he was like, and this is what I came up with.
Yeah, fair.
And I'm like, yes, no, you nailed the assignment. Congratulations.
And it's like, then when he obviously is protecting Rogue, and then Kurt shows up with his 3 swords, them together fighting, and obviously like every time they're slashing and they're just kind of rebuilding themselves. So like it's a never-ending fight, it feels like. To the point when Kurt starts TPing them away, the visual like way they showcased him blinking and Wolverine getting pulled with him, that like visual for that was stunning.
I understand that live action will always make more money because you have snobs. Right now, especially, and like it's been building over the last few years. I challenge you to find any adult who claims to be like a Marvel fan, who's like gone and watched all the MCU films, even if they've never read a comic. I challenge you to find any of them who don't watch this show and be like, "Oh, this fucks." Like, why? Like, I love the actors of the MCU, and I love the MCU and everything it's done, like film-wise, and some of the stories it's given us. It can't compete with this level of animation, though.
No,
you can do things in animation that you just cannot do in, and also you're not going to get anyone going, "Oh, that CGI wasn't very good for that," because guess what? It all melds together beautifully because it's being drawn.
Yeah, like that's the thing. To do this level in animation, they're just not willing to spend the budget. Like you could do it, but you're going to need a massive budget to get like a visual feel for this.
I am slightly worried that this is going to hurt the MCU X-Men, though, because there are a lot of people who don't know a lot about the X-Men who fell in love with Marvel via the MCU.
Yeah.
Now they've seen all these people who love the X-Men getting excited because the X-Men are finally coming to the MCU. So they're like, okay, cool, this will be fun. They go and watch X-Men 97. Nothing. I'd like, maybe this is going to be one of the ones where we look back on it in 2 years and I eat my words. But I can't see anything you can do in live action with the X-Men that is just cooler than what we've seen in this show.
It's definitely going to. I think the best thing that they can do, and I hope they do, is they take a page from how they're doing these different like fights. Like back to like the first episode with Cyclops and how he was moving around, like look at that and be like, okay, we need to come up with like creative ways that these guys are using their powers.
Yeah, these guys
that we
train
can
in the
do
danger room constantly. How are they actually going to use their powers?
Yeah, and like find a way, because I do believe they can do it with the visual effects. Because like, let's be honest, Loki looks stunning. A lot of the visual effects in that, like when they're getting ripped apart and stuff by the temporal stuff, those visual effects look stunning. If you can get that level and like end game level, I think they could do a great job. But they definitely, like you say, they need to look at the animation, because it's going to become now like everyone's kind of level of what X-Men should be.
Absolutely. And rightly so. This is the gold standard of superhero content right now. We've seen a lot of good stuff, but I've never had something that on a storytelling plane has made me so invested, and on like the action sequences has had me so like, oh, this is awesome. And that's what it should be with superhero stuff. The story should be sucking you in emotionally, and then you should get an action sequence, and you should be like, you know, the gif of the guy eating popcorn and like riling up. That's what it should be like, just shoving popcorn in your face, like, yeah, fuck him up.
The thing is, and then going back to the story, like they're so good with this story of hitting us with like twists, because it's like the 2 moments I think in this is you had, obviously we got the reveal last week of Magneto was alive, and it's like we then get the UN lady is there, and you think, okay, yeah, she was on the bad side all along. Whether she wants, she might not mean to be, but she's still happy to. She's there talking to the bad guys. Like clearly, she's on that side of the table. Then you've got the reporter lady shows up for Hank, and you think, oh shit, she's come without a crew. She's actually trying to be like, I was wrong. I want to make amends. To then we get hit with the reporter lady is a hidden sentinel and just absolutely destroys Hank's belief. And then on the flip, you've got the UN lady is actually good and she sets Magneto free.
Do you know what the crazy thing we need to remember about that as well is? Although they don't remember becoming a Prime Sentinel, they're all volunteers.
Yep. So she volunteered for something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is that like
the way the story's being told to us currently is not that they're snatching people and forcing them into it. It's that they're grabbing people who are already a little bit anti-mutant, taking that and then running with it, which I think is the scarier idea of this.
Yeah, and it was just like so because obviously in that moment you're like, oh, you think you know who's good and bad, and then it just flips it, and then the whole Magneto, just like him escaping and then just EMPing the world.
Do you know what's really interesting about that? And I don't know if that's like a rip from the comics. So someone would have to fact check me here. That was giving me big House of M vibes, where Wanda, his daughter, just kind of goes, no more mutants, and all of the mutants like lose their powers and die.
Oh.
Like that was giving just like that top of the pole, where obviously magnetism is its strongest. As like his own Cerebro almost for his powers.
Yeah.
Kind of going, right, enough of this shit, and just takes out everything with electricity in the entire world. Like crazy.
That is next level power. And it was so well like just visualized. Good. Yeah.
Yes, it looked so good. Cutting between the Jubilee and Sunspot battle sequence through the city, what was going on at the mansion, what the Summers were dealing with, and like over the entire episode, it's building, it's building, it's building. You're like, someone's getting really hurt here. I can feel it.
Yeah, this is not going well.
Yeah, and when it feels like they're all about to get really hurt, Magneto's like, nope, shut it down. Right, let's do this. Craziness, and we got some phenomenal cameos.
Oh yeah, there was Spider-Man cameo.
Doctor Doom,
yes,
Zemo, Omega Red, awesome cameos to see.
Yeah,
like really, really awesome cameos to see.
Because we talked about after Captain America last week, we were like, oh, maybe they'll do like one of these big cameos, like a season. We thought maybe they'll be like, oh, this worked well, we'll do Spider-Man next time. Not expecting them to. Yeah. I 100% think this is like hopeful, but it wouldn't surprise me if we end up with a Captain America animated show and we get a Spider-Man animated show.
So I know I've said it a few times, and maybe I'm being pessimistic. We already have a Spider-Man animated show coming with Spider-Man Freshman Year or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, whatever the title is now.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing two at the same time.
True.
Maybe they will now that like it's all on their own platform, and it will be, maybe they'll make sure they're tonally different, but I just don't see it. They've never really done multiple cartoons at the same time for the same character. In fact, Spectacular Spider-Man fans will remember when their Spider-Man show got cancelled because they wanted to do another one. But True. I would absolutely love for an animated Marvel universe, and if they want to center that around X-Men 97, I'm all in on that. I'm 100% for that because I think it'd be awesome.
I hope we get more Doom as well.
Absolutely, that was so cool. I said I feel like they might want to do a Fantastic Four animated show.
Yeah, she did.
And this is just like a what if?
Yeah.
I think that we're in for some gut-wrenching X-Men over the next 2 weeks.
I think you're going to get, and with Charles back, there's going to be a split of who wants to just turn on the world and Charles trying to keep things together.
And here's the thing. I know I've said it a few times now. Maybe people who've like remember reading these comics 30 years ago. Sorry, I'm not as old as you. Will look off at me. I still feel like they're trying to get to like that Krakoan
True.
break off point.
Yeah, maybe Charles will be actually like, no,
Yeah.
screw you all.
Yeah. And maybe Scott becomes a little bit more jaded and aggressive as a result of this. Maybe
Yeah.
Hank is starting to get a little bit unimpressed with humans now, and he's losing a bit of his
I think he is already.
ethics around it. Yeah. So I'd be really curious to see where this goes. Charles' arrival back on Earth and getting like the floating heads around him as he's just going to me, my X-Men telepathically towards them. Dope.
So,
I love it so much.
It was such a like great moment to end on.
Yes. I'm really, really curious to see what these next two episodes hold, and if they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger for season 2, or if they are going to end this story and season 2 will be the start of a new story.
I think we're going to be left on a cliffhanger.
Quite possibly. But yeah, stunning episode. I loved it so much.
It really was.
Wait to see what else we get.